Hello, I am Elizabeth Press, founder of D3M Labs, and I am here today with Dr. Anna Moya, who is head of data science and analytics at the Handelsblatt Media Group, and she is also a lecturer at the International School of Management in Dortmund. Anna, thank you very much for being here. And you and I have had a lot of great conversations about AI and statistics and how companies are using data to make their decisions. And you and I have also talked about how there's a lot of AI FOMO out there, AI fear of missing out, where companies feel like they need to make some sort of AI strategy or even generative AI strategy. So this FOMO drives companies into machine learning or even generative AI and other advanced topics, skipping data fundamentals. And they do this repeatedly without knowing their KPIs, without fundamental statistical analysis. And then they wonder why they fail so expensively at a lot of their initiatives.
Hello, Elizabeth, and hello to the audience outside. Thank you so much for the invitation and for the great conversations we have had about the topic. For most of the people, statistics is something like a boring topic, and nobody wants to talk about this, and nobody wants to consider this in the beautiful hype AI, because everyone wants to just to go on the top, let's say, of the mountain. This is a time where, let's say, most of the companies that have not been in touch with topics like data, like statistic, and so on, where they are with one delay, I have to say. And digitalization is always taking more place, and the technology is always being quicker. And so that I can, of course, understand that this feeling. And one of the strategies that people and organizations can just use for starting with this topic is starting, let's say, with data quality, with the first analysis and understanding, let's say, the people who is using the products or who is, let's say, buying your products.
I have to say that I love your wall of statistics. It really shows your craft very well. So, as a PhD in statistics, it must break your heart to see that people and companies are jumping into machine learning. Now you could do that pretty easily with a lot of the Python libraries and even with a lot of low code, no code tools without fully tackling statistics.
For me, the worst thing is, to be sure, is the people consultancy companies, or let's say people who is selling tools which are promising to these people that they will have one solution, that doing a big investment, they will be getting implemented their AI use cases and projects. It could be possible that these people are getting these use cases implemented, but it is just for a short time, or we are thinking about long term.
We talked about the 4 types of analysis that Gartner described, and other companies have described this as well. You have descriptive, you have diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive, decision automation. And you and I talked about how a lot of people, they jump right to the predictive analytics because everybody wants to know the future, right? And they go to decision automation. And so they go to these advanced topics without looking at their data and without even defining KPIs and thinking about the fundamental questions. What have you done in your work to bring out the best of all these 4 different types of analysis?
These 4 types of analysis are very important. In the first step, before starting with predictive or prescriptive analytics, it is important to know the data, to take a look for the descriptive part, the distributions, the first, let's say, anomalies, detection, outliers, just to get in knowledge about this, how, for example, when we are analyzing customer data, how, for example, the distribution would be of age or distribution channels and so on. After doing this descriptive analysis, it is important to jump to the diagnostic or explorative part, because there you are going to get the first relations between variables. There, in this case, you will be knowing about the correlations, about relationships, or even you will be discovering the first patterns. After these two types of analysis have been made, then we can go to the next step. And when we have made a good diagnostical approach, you will be getting the first potential variables that will be having an influence. And then we can get them together in the predictive part. And then you will be using such models, machine learning and so on, where you will be finding more than patterns. You can make predictions. And the prescriptive part, it is about giving recommendations with the departments, with the business people, and just developing actions has to be taken from this knowledge that you have discovered in the analysis.
And as I look at your wall of statistics, I think about that most people would be a bit afraid by what they're seeing there. And I ask you the question, how do we get people to love statistics? Because in the end of the day, when they actually understand all the great things they can do with statistics, they're going to want to use it more.
Absolutely. And this is one of my passions, not only working with data in the industry, it is about working with statistics and data in the educational plane. And there I am trying to, let's say, to educate my students and to bring this message about the importance of statistics and the importance of a good foundation. In my case, I am working with the master students of data science and business intelligence at International School of Management. In this case, for me, it is a passion giving this information, and that trying that the students are getting in love with this. It is important that people who is working with data in the data teams are taking the departments, are taking the business people in the hand and improving the data literacy.
What habits do you have that have brought you success?
For dealing with an analytical project, before we at all start, it is about understanding. It is about understanding the question and which are the results that would be expected, and what is the people expecting, and what is the people, let's say, planning to do with these results. And this helps firstly to understand better the problem, and even for selecting which variables will be considered or which method you will be using, because even you can realize that one problem is let's say, solved by diagnostical analytics. After I have understood it, then I go to the implementation, and this is very interactive. I try always to start with a small part of the analysis. Let's say proof of concepts are very, very adequate for this kind of task. And then after the thinking, let's say after I have the results done, asking the departments if they also agree with this department, with these results. Let's say if they can understand the results, and if they have another opinions, it can be, and then they bring a new approach, or they bring another new idea. And then after this stage is done, the communication of the final results and the sharing of the knowledge. This is one point which is very, very important for me as well, because otherwise the knowledge is staying there and it has to be shared.
And how can our audience get in contact with you?
You can reach me at LinkedIn. Ana Moya is my name. And for sure, everybody who is connected with Elizabeth will see that we are connected as well.
Thank you.